The group setting is so wonderful for two main reasons. The biggest thing is just finally being surrounded by people who understand what you're going through, who you don't have to explain why something is so hard. They just really intuitively get it. And the second thing is that that sense of community, I think that the group creates really holds you accountable and then provides you support for challenging those eating disorder behaviors.
I would definitely agree with both of those. I know for me, having the group was a really safe place because people, you knew no one was going to be judgmental because they were all going through something very similar. They understood where you were coming from. And then the support that Teresa talked about, not just there when we were physically together in group, but how that carried out over the week and us being able to reach out to one another was really helpful. For me, I know the group meals were really helpful because us coming together, it became a very normalizing experience. Being able to eat around other people and to eat food that wasn't something that I would necessarily pick is something that people do every day when you go out and you eat with other people. But I had completely stopped doing that because it was very triggering and very stressful. So to do that around people who understood that it was difficult for me helped me overcome a lot of the challenge that was there.
And I think the other thing that's so great about group meals is that for some people who have been ensconced in their eating disorder for so long, there are so many things you do that just seem so normal that you don't even realize are eating disordered. And to have a group sit with you while you're eating, people will notice those things and challenge you on them and then help you as you work to really overcome them. And that's really invaluable.
So I've stayed involved in rock recovery in a couple of ways. The first was Carrie asked me to be a part of the body image education workshops. So I've gotten to go a few times and lead the workshop on the power of sharing your story. And it's neat because I get to talk about my experience sharing my story with group and how transformative that was and to talk about that. So that's been one way. And then I've also stayed involved as a mentor. For me, my mentor was a huge part of my recovery, and her support was invaluable. So that was something that as soon as it was offered, I realized I would love to be able to offer that to somebody else. So I've been doing that now for about a year.
I've also stayed involved as a mentor, and I think the reason that I did that for me, a big part of my eating disorder was wrapped up in some other root causes. I had some struggles with trauma, and I really felt like I wanted to be there as a mentor for anybody who might have that same issue so they could really feel like there was someone who understood what they were going through, but who could also model that it is possible to move beyond using your eating disorder to deal with these issues, and recovery and health and joy really are happy again, even though in the moment they don't seem to be. I think the biggest benefit of having a mentor as you're going through recovery is that when you're in it, it seems so impossible. And the struggles that you deal with on a day to day are so enormous that the idea of where will I be in 6 months, let alone where will I be in a month, it's so overwhelming to think about. And having a mentor who's been through it, knows that you're struggling and understands it, and still can tell you that you will get through it is, I think, vital to maintaining hope that recovery is worth it.
And I know as a mentor, that's brought a whole nother level to my recovery. Leaving when I left Rock Recovery as a client, I was in a really good place physically and emotionally. But there was a part of me that really wanted to just get past my eating disorder, put it behind me. I didn't want it to be something that was consuming my life anymore. And being a mentor was a way for me to come back and acknowledge that part of my past, but in a way that was incredibly redemptive. And to know that I can use my story and take those experiences and offer hope to someone else instead of hiding it, that's been this whole other level of freedom for me as a mentor.
Yeah, I really think being a mentor for me gives meaning to the struggles that I had. It puts them in context, and it really it makes it all worthwhile in the end.